Welcome to Bookish Mind, Season 06, Episode 06. Today we're exploring a profound question from Chapter 6 of Renuka Gavrani's insightful book, The Art of Being Alone. What if the only person missing from your side is you? That question really just hangs in the air, doesn't it? For this deep dive, we're getting into Renuka Gavrani's book, The Art of Being Alone, specifically Chapter 6. She calls it Turn Loneliness into Growth, period. And our mission really is to unpack this realization Gavrani shares about, well, finding the missing piece in her own life.
Right.
And why that seems to hit home for, well, probably a lot of us. We want to explore how her ideas sort of push us to look inward, maybe transform how we think about solitude.
Yeah, moving it away from being just, empty time.
Exactly. Towards something more like growth, real growth.
And it's striking how she starts this chapter, very direct. She uses this quote from Gurdon's Bells.
Oh, yeah.
It says, "You are who you are, whether you like it or not, so why not like it?"
Okay. Simple enough. Self-acceptance.
Pretty much. Acknowledging reality, it's a strong starting point.
Right, and it's quite direct, but then Gavrani does something really interesting. She takes that idea, that quote, and applies it smack bang to being alone. She asks us, basically, you are alone, whether you like it or not, so why not like it?
Oof.
Yeah, oof is right. It feels like a bit of a challenge. It just confronts you with this truth that maybe sometimes we are alone, and maybe that's okay. What do you think that directness does to the reader?
Well, you called it a challenge, and I think that's right. It doesn't just state a fact. It sets the stage for taking some control, some agency.
Agency, right.
Yeah. It's not just about, sighing and accepting it. It's pushing towards a more intentional kind of acceptance. Society often tells us being alone is bad, something to fix.
Totally. Like it's a problem.
Exactly. And Gavrani just cuts through that noise. She makes you stop and think, okay, is there actually something here, not just something to tolerate, but maybe something to embrace?
Yeah.
It's about moving past just putting up with it.
And she doesn't leave you hanging with just the challenge, does she? She follows it right up with this call to action, to self-agency, like you said.
Precisely.
She writes, and if you cannot find a reason to like it, then create some. Wow. You cannot expect life... Go get it. That's pretty powerful stuff. It puts the ball squarely in your court.
It really does. And it's not just, think positive fluff. It feels more grounded than that. It's about taking real ownership of your emotions, your situation.
Right. Not waiting around.
Not waiting for other people or luck or, the universe to just hand you happiness or reasons to feel okay about yourself. Gavrani's point seems to be, if you want that feeling, even feeling okay with being alone, you have to actively build it.
Build it yourself.
Yeah, create it. It's a big shift in thinking.
Yeah.
From passively waiting to actively constructing your own contentment. Stop waiting for happiness to arrive. Start making it.
And it's clear this isn't just abstract philosophy for her. She gets really personal, shares her own story, which honestly makes it much more believable.
Definitely.
She talks about this time right after college, feeling totally adrift, no clear passion, no obvious path forward, just this desperate need to achieve something, anything.
The feeling is so relatable.
Isn't it? That post-graduation void, the pressure to have it all figured out. I think a lot of us have been there.
Absolutely. And her story really anchors the whole idea. She gets specific about the struggles. Things like lacking practical skills for the job market. That's huge.
Yeah.
And feeling this immense societal pressure. She says it was hanging on her head 204/7 to prove her worth.
Wow, 204/7, that's intense.
It is. And maybe the hardest part, the isolation. She says she had absolutely no one to talk to, share how I was feeling.
That's heartbreaking.
It really is. She describes being so consumed by self-doubts and pity, just stuck in that feeling, and sharing that vulnerability, that really raw struggle. It makes the realization she comes to later feel so much more earned.
Right. It wasn't just some easy insight.
No, definitely not. It feels like a truth she had to fight her way towards.
Which leads us right to that big aha moment. Years later, she looks back at that tough period, and she has this incredible insight. She writes, today, when I am writing this book, if I look back, I can see that the only person who was missing from my side was M.E.
Pause on that for a second.
Yeah. The only person missing was M.E. It kind of stops you in your tracks, doesn't it? Because it's not what you expect.
It's huge. That self-discovery, realizing your own absence, that's the core, isn't it? Shifting how we see solitude. It's not about who else isn't there. It's about whether you are there for yourself.
Okay, unpack that a bit more.
Well, she immediately says, look, this isn't just my story. She points it right back at the reader, at you.
Yeah.
And it's not just the case with me, but you as well.
Right.
And that resonates because, well, how often are we missing from our own lives without even noticing? We show up for work, for family, for friends. We tick all the boxes.
Yeah, you're present outwardly.
Exactly. But inwardly, maybe we've left ourselves behind, ditched our own needs, ignored that inner voice. We're looking outside for the validation, the company, the support that actually needs to start from within. Our own presence, our own support.
So the most important relationship is the one with yourself.
That's what she's saying. Cultivate that first.
Which sets up this really interesting, almost, I don't know, painful contradiction she points out.
How so?
Well, she talks about how great we are at supporting other people. You know, we encourage them, we give advice, we deliver these perfect speeches, she calls them.
Yeah, like mini TED Talks for our friends.
Exactly. We become these part-time motivational speakers. We lift people up, cheer them on. We can be really good at that. We all know how to be a good friend, right?
We do. But then
Comes the flip side, the really uncomfortable part. Gavrani says, when it's our turn, when we need that support, we somehow manage to leave every bit of our Gaian behind. Gaian meaning that wisdom, that practical knowledge we dish out so freely.
Right, all that great advice.
We leave it behind and push ourselves into a dark tunnel of self-sabotaging.
Ouch. That's stark.
It is stark. Why did we do that? Why is there such a gap?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not just about forgetting self-care. It points to how much we rely on external validation, maybe. Prioritizing what others think or need over our own basic self-support.
Like our own needs don't matter as much.
Or maybe we think it's selfish to focus on ourselves. Or we're afraid maybe we won't be there for others if we're too busy being there for ourselves. Whatever the reason, it leads to this pattern of, well, self-abandonment.
Championing everyone else.
While leaving ourselves in the dust. We have the yayam, the wisdom, like she says. We just don't apply it where it's maybe needed most. We forget to give ourselves the same compassion, the same understanding we give everyone else.
Which brings her to these really direct questions for the listener. Questions that kind of demand an answer, you know. She asks, why you and I don't have enough courage to stand by ourselves? Why has no one taught us to first be our friends?
Those hit hard.
They really do. They aren't just throwaway lines. They feel like a genuine plea for us to look deeper. But, you know, thinking about her shift from waiting for reasons to creating them, it's empowering, yes. But does it maybe skip over how hard it can be just to figure out what reasons to create? Or even how to start being your own friend?
That's a fair point. And I think her own story, the vulnerability she shows, acknowledges that initial struggle. Maybe the creation starts right there.
Yeah.
With asking those tough questions you just mentioned.
Just starting the questioning process.
Yeah. It's not an overnight fix. It's a journey. But those questions are so important because they expose that core paradox.
Yeah.
Totally present for others, completely a wall for ourselves.
Right.
We learn our whole lives how to be a good friend to others, how to listen, how to support. But who teaches us how to turn that inward? To give ourselves that same loyalty, that same support when we're struggling?
Nobody really.
Generally, no. And that's exactly where the book, The Art of Being Alone, aims to help. Gavrani says she wants to show us how to be your friend and how you can use your alone time to turn it into your growth period.
Connecting it back.
Directly. Back to that chapter title, Growth Period. So realizing you're missing that aha moment. It's not just an insight. It's step one. The essential first step to actually starting that growth, turning that loneliness into something, well, fertile. A place for real self-discovery.
And there we have it. That sometimes unsettling idea that maybe we are the ones missing from our own lives, and the call, the imperative really, to cultivate that self-friendship. It's about reframing solitude, not as lack, but as potential, a time for real, solid growth, just like Gavrani maps out, becoming the friend you always needed.
So thinking about all this, about Gavrani's insights, maybe the question for you, the listener, is this. What's one small thing, one tangible action you could take, maybe even today, to make sure you aren't missing from your own side anymore?
Like a first step.
Exactly. How can you start that journey, that intentional process of really befriending yourself? How do you begin to see that alone time not as something to dread, but as fuel, a real catalyst for your own growth, your own self-discovery? It's about making that space, you know, not just for quiet, but for connection with yourself.